Sorry, sir, there's some error.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the lovely greetings. And I'm overwhelmed with the songs and the welcome that you've given. I'm uh, today in Goa. Actually, the date was already fixed for our webinar. And my wife said, enough of it, you are done for 2 years, not taken me anywhere. At least let us celebrate your birthday in Goa. So I was in Taj. From there, 3 days, I'm in W. So this world, I was feeling I'm the out of all the problems. She said that third wave is coming. Before it comes, take a break and rejuvenate yourself so that you can work very well. And I was working all these days from morning 6 till night 2 o'clock on my toes and treating every patient very meticulously because homeopathy is difficult, not easy like allopathy. In allopathy, there are fixed protocols. But here you have to go as per the principles of homeopathy because wherever you try to avoid principles of homeopathy, you face the problem. Then you face the frustration and then you face the failures. But at the same time, when the principles are followed, even then, if you're not getting results, so you have to find out obstacles to the cure. And the biggest obstacle is steroid. From one side, we are stimulating the immunity to fight, and steroid are suppressing it. How to overcome? So I learned from my failures. In the initial first wave, it was a really big challenge. We were not known what is COVID-19, how this virus will believe, what will be the symptoms, how am I going to proceed? So I said, just keep one thing in the mind. Just remember Dr. Hahnemann, and he will show you the path. And first case I took, and that case was really challenging. I think that day I must have hardly slept for 2 hours. I said, till the time I cover up this case and I come to know. So in 24 hours, I understood where I was failing. I immediately corrected because you cannot wait. If you wait, patient will die. You have to be very fast, quick. And one thing I will share with you, the right remedy starts acting minutes. So within minutes.
Sir, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
So I think the initial talk you heard, I suppose.
Yes, absolutely, sir. Just now only I muted everybody. We heard everything. Just the last line, if you could repeat. Thank you.
So if the correct remedy is chosen, you start getting results within a minute. What is that first result? Patient becomes calm. Patient becomes calm. And he says, his symptoms are there, but he says, I'm not well, but you can look from the face. And therefore, video conferencing was very important. So luckily, I have a son, youngest son, Neil Raj, who always helps me in these technologies. I was not very well versed with it, but he has developed a very good Google-based software. And from there, I can directly communicate. I can keep the records. I can see later on where we made a mistake. The mistakes are to be accepted because no one is perfect. I thank Dr. Anupam for introducing so nicely. She said, I'm a Hahnemann, but I'm not. The time is still there. No one can match Dr. Hahnemann and no one can take his place. But with the dreams, innovative homeopaths that I'm with all of you today, it's a right time and right day, and I'm in a very right mood, jovial mood, that my dreams will come true. And that will be the greatest tribute to Dr. Hahnemann, because you cannot replace him. He was a man, but his principles, his ideas, and his way of thinking, what I liked most about Dr. Hahnemann was he shunned his practice of allopathy. There was no way out. At least I had that opportunity to go from allopathy to homeopathy. He had no way out. That too with, I think, 11 children to feed bread and butter, win the bread and butter for the family. It was a great decision of him, and it showed the humanity in him. What he said, people are dying more by the treatment than by the disease, and I cannot be a sinner. And from that, that should come in a doctor, because what is the first thing he said? Physician is for patient, is not for any science. Physician's highest ideal is to cure the patient. It is the shortest, rapid, gentle, and permanent restoration of the health. Today we cannot call cure. In his time, cure was possible because human body was not that much polluted. Today we have got chemicals and chemicals. The molecules, you take first generation cephalosporin, second generation cephalosporin, third generation, and all of them have failed at certain moments of the time. So initial there is a good result, but later on it goes down. So I welcome you all, and I thank you for listening and greeting me so nicely. So let us come to the proper presentations. I will share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. It shows Dr. Patil has started sharing.
Sure. Start from play. Yeah.
Yeah, we can see, sir.
Yeah, the most important presentation topic was lesson that we learned from COVID-19. First wave, second wave, and we are awaiting for the third wave, organized by all the lovely dreams. The dreams come true, innovative homeopath. And I welcome you all. And it is a great time and great presentation I made for you today. But I always, at the start, I dedicate this lecture to our great master, Dr. Samuel Frederick Hahnemann, founder of homeopathy. The real tribute to him that day, I can say, is somewhere I have reached, would to make this homeopathy a great science in a scientific way. During his time, there were no investigative facilities, no research facilities, what we have today. But still, we are stuck on to 200 years back, and we are not proved. And therefore, even though this is a great science, it's a magical science. So when the magic will become scientific, that day it will be a great, and everyone has to follow this, because that is the only great tribute to our master. I welcome you all. I respect all the sciences, and my weapons to fight against the disease, to restore health of a sick individual. The mission of physician is to save, restore the health with happiness of the sick. If there is no happiness, the person should get well and feel happy. That is in the real sense called as cure. All sciences have got scope and limitations. And I faced, Dr. Anupam has really told everything about in the initial phases of my life. One case, what she says that I have to add, because other stories everyone has heard. This particularly patient in my ICU, he went into a complete heart block. Now, complete heart block in a set of acute myocardial infarction, inferior with extension of the anterior wall with cardiogenic shock. It was an impossible case to survive. We started dopamine drip. That time, whatever best facilities I had, then finally he was not improving. Then I said, I have to do a pacing. I was very expert in putting a temporary pacemaker into the heart, because giving a cardiogenic shock was to damage the myocardium. So I used to put pacemaker within 3 minutes in the heart, and that patient was not affording. So even that to go to that pacing, I tried to convince them, ask them, okay, at least we will have to get streptokinase, which was 10,000 that time. I think it is a story of 1998. And I was just basically an allopath, just entry, means just first 3 or 4 months of introduction to homeopathy. I said, here I'm stuck. This was the limitation of allopathy. Patient is not affording pacemaker, patient is not affording streptokinase, and all relatives who had come, they were 10, 15. I asked them, I told them, you, if your father has to survive, he at least get something. Rest things you waive off, I'll waive off my fees, indoor charges, ICU charges, but at least get the medications. They were not ready. And then I had no other choice. Then I said, now here it is a test of homeopathy. What to do in such case? The monitor was on, patient was just on a dopamine drip, no other things, and anticoagulants. And I was practicing at different place. You know, that time pager was there, not a mobile. And I told my assistant, look here, this man is 100% going to die. No one can save him. Our things are going on, and do one thing, because if he dies, after 1 hour, the dead body has to be handed over, not before 1 hour. I'd learned because there can be some life in the muscles, and when they take and they try to do faster burning of the body can lift up. That is because of the muscle spasm. जिंदा आदमी को जला दिया, डॉक्टर ने मरा हुआ डिक्लेयर कर दिया. All these things have taught me many things in my life. So the rule was not to hand over the body. In my boss has taught for 1 hour, I used to keep it for 2 hours. So I had signed the death certificate, because I cannot come from the nearby town back, because it was going to take me 6-7 hours. I told my assistant, everything has been filled up. Only whatever last you will be doing, enter those notes and give the body after 2 hours. Then I said, what, failures always obstructed me and always made me sad. So I was feeling frustrated. Suddenly a thought came to me, why can't we use homeopathy in such case? Now, how to use, where to use? But I was knowing something, small points of homeopathy. So I told my assistant, Arnica 30 and Cactus G. Cactus G is a sorbitrate of homeopathy. Arnica, that dissolves all the clots, plus ischemic damage to the heart. That was what I had read. I was not knowing principles of homeopathy, philosophy of homeopathy, nothing. And that was given in alternation within half an hour. And I said, keep a watch. If by chance the BP comes up, reduce the dopamine drip. Because if you don't reduce the dopamine drip, patient may have a problem. And I went away. There was no communication. And I came back after 6 hours, hoping that this person must have gone. They must have taken the body. And I entered my ICU. And this man was sitting and eating food. I was so surprised. I was so happy. And I thanked Dr. Haniman that day that I have overridden the limitations of allopathy. And here was my full faith with dedication. I said, nothing doing. I'm going to learn homeopathy. And from that day, I started learning homeopathy. I started using homeopathy in a clinical setup, 1 prescription of allopathy and 1 single dose of homeopathy. Gradually, I was getting so much of results, so many results, like untreatable status asthma, untreatable COPDs, all that. But well, and this is how, I started treating. And then a time came where people were saying how this allopath can practice a homeopathy. So I said, this shows that I'm getting a success of homeopathy. And then I took an admission to a medical college, 4.5 years. I completed the course and finally I got a PHMS degree. The day I got homeopathic degree in my hand, I was so happy, not happy even when I got a MD degree in my hand of chest diseases. And this particular thing gave me more and more and more enthusiasm to go into the visualization. And then I started getting results till the time COVID came, or when for the cancer cases. There I was getting stuck up again with homeopathy and I was not finding the way. So I studied many others, 117 alternative sciences I've studied, but I got a degree of 3 to 4. I got an acupuncture just now, about 10 days back. I appeared for an exam because acupuncture science is also marvelous science. Gives results in minutes. Frozen shoulder, 1 dose of selected remedy, either Rustox, Ruta, or Vajicum, and a point here and stomach, 36. Hand goes like this within 2 minutes. And see now this is a integration and combination. So every science has got limitations and we must take care of that. So primarily I practice homeopathy as a first line of treatment today, and beyond scope of homeopathy in severe cases, incurable, I take help of allopathy, Ayurveda, acupuncture, alternative sciences, but hardly I require for 10% of all these alternative sciences because most of the job is done by homeopathy. So, coming to the COVID waves, we have faced first wave. You can see how small it is, and second wave, how big it is. You can see on the screen, right? Why this? Why this? Because there are two things. In first, there was a lot of lockdown was there, a lot of spotting and spot treatment was there. And I would add to this, arsenic album that we have distributed on mass scale has given a small first wave. You can see the first wave. But in second wave, everybody had forgotten arsenic album and there was no proper distribution. And we can see what is there, the height. And that is what I said, even in the Maharashtra task force. This slide has been prepared by our chairman, Padma Shri, Dr. T.P. Lani sir. And I taken a permission, can I share your slides for the slide presentation? He said, yes, you can. And from this figure, you can see these are the authentic figures because he is a director of medical education. Either he was, now he has retired, but he has given me the slides to share. And I find the second wave, if you would have used arsenic album, arsenic album was such a good remedy. And if you see CCRH, they have done a very good research, how it immunomodulates, how it acts on the virus. The time is less, otherwise I would have shown the full article. I am reading always about the research in homeopathy, and that gives me insight how to apply the principles of homeopathy along with this research. Like Bryonia, it has been given, Rustox it is given, Arnica it is given, and arsenic album. These 4 head remedies are very important and therefore we have to go. So what lessons we learned from second wave? We should not be in hurry to declare ourselves free from on COVID-19. Then watch global, think and act local. Always act local, because we watch on internet and what we see on the ground reality is totally different. The multi-powered strategy will have a greater impact. Now, this multi-pronged and multi-factorial strategy would be, if I vouch for that, it's very important that if the integration of homeopathy has been done, I've shown a lot of cases in my previous webinars and you must have seen. So I have not taken those cases today because I wanted to discuss more about the practicality. So if the homeopathy is included as an adjuvant, I can tell you, and I can bet on this, that number of deaths and morbidity and mortality will come down. And if homeopathy has been allowed right from the beginning, like influenza, we get a time till the time your RT-PCR test come positive. In these 2 days, if you aggressively treat, don't give just single remedy and wait, you lose the time. If your remedy is right, you have to see the result within I would say 1 minute, but at least 1 hour. I will give, कि चलो 1 घंटा रुक जाओ. You have to see a drop of temperature from 102 to 101.8, 0.6, 0.22222, it comes down, and within 1 hour the fever should go. So this multifactorial or multi-pronged strategy of involving Ayush, particularly I would vouch for homeopathy, because I have seen the marvelous results and thousands of cases I have done, and I have seen that homeopathy has saved lives of many people. From, if you take 100 cases of COVID, if you start from the beginning, hardly one death you can see, provided there must be some other reasons, selection of the remedy, comorbidities. But usually, initially, if 100 people used to get, 70 used to get well on their own, 30 used to face problem. Now these 70 are, even in vaccination, they are not getting any trouble. So the mainstream is this 30 patients. These 30 people or patients, they need to be monitored properly. That is the lesson I have learned. And I've given that hints also in our task force, that why even vaccination is not protective. It's a big question, but that we'll discuss later on. But I have seen that these 30 patients, if in the first 3 days, if they are integrated with allopathy, the drastic means out of 30, 10 used to die. So if you compare with 100, then the mortality rate goes down. But if you take this 30 and count the death rate, it is quite high. Because 70 to ऐसे भी ठीक हो जाने वाले थे, whether you give and whether you don't give. So the real time would be to give the proper things. Then strategies to prevent: wide testing, awareness amongst population, voluntary strategies to increase health-seeking behavior and availability. Okay, whether we'll face the third wave, when it will come, when it will start, how big it will be, who will be affected is a big question mark. But I think if the homeopathy prevention has been started, everyone should propose like we did in the first wave. Arsenic album can save many lives and can change. Even if some patient who got COVID, even after taking arsenic album, the morbidity and mortality was not significant as compared to those who had not taken. And Dr. Anil Khurana sir has done in CCRH, even Dr. Hurley in AIMS, where I was a part of it, shown that how homeopathy is effective. Still, it is falling on the deaf ears. That is the sad part. But K and M, that is Kerala and Maharashtra, are the markers of the start of the wave in India due to high literacy and phobic, it's a spelling mistake, phobic state of mind. So fear and phobia. And high literacy means you take more medications, wrong medications, and then you fall into the problems. So what is corona? So where we have to accept it is a primary ACE2 receptor inhibitor. So ACE2s are angiotensin converting enzyme, has been identified in many organs. It's an mRNA known to be present virtually in all organs, and localization of ACE2 proteins in various human organs has been found. The remarkable finding was surface expression of ACE2 proteins on the lung alveolar epithelium and enterocytes of small intestine. During the first wave, lung was there. Second wave, intestines were involved. See now how. And third wave, what will be involved is a big question that we cannot predict today. But I think it can be a multi-organ, because we'll come to that point later on. Furthermore, the ACE2 was present in arterial and venous endothelial system, arterial smooth muscle cells, in all organs studied. So, what was the main seat of action was blood vessels. So one take the lung and one take the vessels. There are good rubrics available. From there, you find out a individualized remedy that is actually matching what has been, somebody has tested. Now, suppose if you give Rostox, I give Epis, someone gives Bryonia, who is right and who is wrong? We three can be right and we three can be wrong. Provided I've seen many times he's also getting with Rostox result, I'm getting with Epis result. Why that is coming? Because somewhere, some part, homeopathic medicines are not made out of one single molecule as it is in allopathy. So multiple molecules which are there, and therefore we see Epis is a chronic of Rostox. So why? Because there are some molecules which are acting more than a Rostox, and therefore it is very important. And therefore we have to take into consideration the individualization, particularly looking to the pathology. Pathology should not be the seat of selection of the remedy, but you have to give importance to it. So I made a chart. The first wave, second wave, third wave. There we are putting question marks, but we'll come to know. In first wave, there was dry coryza. In second, it was a stuffy coryza, which choking of the sore throat. Patient used to complain, Doctor Sahab, kuch atak gaya hai. And first, it was a very painful sore throat. So there is a change. In the first, fever was not more than 4 to 5 days. Here, fever was prolonging for 8 days, 10 days, 12 days. Pneumonia was fulminant in a very shortest time. In second, it was taking a longer time. People had to stay longer time in ICU. The money was exhausted and they had to die. First wave, it was a loss of smell at test. Here, it was there in few people, not in all, but diarrhea and vomiting and hepatitis was unusual presentation, more into the second wave. And morbidity and duration, it was say 5 to 8 days maximum. Matter is over. Everybody is out. Either he comes home or he goes to the grave. Second, severe morbidity and long duration. And deaths were more than first wave. Why? Because they were not properly managed. Because the first remedies that were used were not acting in second. Even remdesivir failed. But people used to get well with remdesivir in some cases. Why that was happening? So it was a psychological effect. Patient used to say, "Abhi meko 50,000 ka injection mil gaya," and that confidence created in him used to make him well. Because there are 11,000 cases of COVID studied. It was a solidarity trial all over the world, and it was found that remdesivir, tocilizumab, everything is not working. Still, some centers were using. And I think because of that confidence, so mind becomes strong, patient can come out even from the severe morbidity and he can be more better. So what homeopathy does? Acts on the mind. Therefore, here I want to impress that take the mind symptoms in such stated fear of death, fear that they will die, or more than death, they are worried about their family members. Some are worried more about the bills of the hospital. So select the remedy accordingly. You all are ace homeopaths. I need not teach you for that, but selection should be there. Just don't go on the symptoms. The mind is very important. And mind, if the symptoms are not fitting in, give as a follows well remedy, intercurrent remedy. You must have seen in my earlier presentations. In some cases, I have given 4, 5, 6 remedies. And that is how I have saved the lives. Because in early 2 or 3 cases, where I didn't use multiple remedies, that patient died. And even our good homeopaths are succumbing to COVID because they have that fear in their mind. Ki nahi, itna remedies nahi use karna chahiye. Arey Baba, you have to act fast. Remedy, homeopathic remedy acts or it doesn't act. It doesn't prove itself in a morbid vital force. So I've seen if you give remedy to the healthy person, it proves and you get a symptoms, but here in the morbid, it doesn't prove. So what are the homeopathic treatment in first wave? Bryonia, Ferrum Phos, Antimtart, and Epis, Carbovage. And second, Merxol, Arsenical, Bryonia, Carbovage. Changing remedy pattern was there. And in third wave, I think if you see all these ACE2 receptors, you may get the symptoms of any of these organs, and usually the children are going to be more affected. In second wave, mid-age was there, and in first wave, more than 40, 60, 40 to above 60, they were more affected. Okay, so how much time? Okay. So what is the predisposition to COVID infection? Mental, emotional state, nutritional state, habit and sleep pattern, diabetes, hypertension, comorbidity, and past history of recurrent viral infection. Some people are prone to viral infections, and usually these people, if they have gotten syphilitic things in there, then they are going to die much earlier and much faster. And therefore, here I've seen the Merck Salt works better. Whether it fits in or not, you give it and give the indicated remedy. You can use this as an intercurrent remedy, but it has to be followed by a soric remedy, because I've seen that if you treat syphilis and don't consider SORA, and then sometimes it causes a problem. So choose a soric remedy after the syphilitic remedy, because that will not cause patient to go down to. So homeopathic preventive measures, as I have talked, arsenic album. In second wave, I found out Merck Salt followed by arsenic album. So what I used to do for, I selected 100 people for my observation sake, because I wanted to be very confirmed. And Mercer was given in the evening, and night 11 o'clock, arsenic album. Repeat this every 5th day. Or those who have got a history of viral infection, I used to repeat every 3rd day. And those who were with a robust immunity, every 7th day repetition for about a month. And then after that, if you've been exposed, then it is to, if you are fear of death, add aconite. If you're a doctor, you say, no one is going to treat me. Like I also developed that phobia while treating so many cases. If I get problem, who is going to treat me? And who is going to use multiple remedies? Because we homeopaths are very rigid. We are not flexible. We have got fixed ideas and terrorization. So unless you remove these fixed ideas and terrorization, you cannot be a good homeopath. Otherwise, Dr. Hahnemann would not have found the homeopathic science, because we learn from somewhere, we take it. So it is a good saying, listen to the world, but follow what suits you, what suits the condition, what suits the present situation. So, the pathology, it is thrombosis, perivascular ground glass appearance was because of vasculitis, extensive perfusion defect, and right ventricular dysfunction. I separated out SORA, psychosis, and syphilis. So what is SORA? Physiology, biochemistry, immunology is disturbed at a physiological level. That is called also a vital force. So vital force is combining of this, and when the functions are disturbed, it is SORA. In psychosis, it is hyper or hypofunctions of the glands, tissue, of physiology, biochemistry, and immunology. And in syphilis, there is a destruction of physiology, biochemistry, immunology. You get all metabolic disorders, they are syphilis. Very easy. But this word confused me a lot from entering from allopathy to homeopathy. Syphilis means we used to say it is all VDRL positive, and how this can be syphilis. But finally, I got a meaning of syphilis. Syphilis is destruction, and psychosis is either built up or less, hypo or hyper. And SORA is nothing else but the functional disturbances. Therefore, in soric cases, many times you get single remedy results, but not when all three are there, and that too stages of the disease. In stage 1, where there is a minimal damage, you can get a success with one remedy. But when it crosses to stage 2, 3, and 4, I divided into 4. And finally, I found out, like in cancer, it is 4th stage, even though it is a primary cancer. Unless and until you use proper remedies, tissue affinity medicines, and that, you are not going to get a success. Dr. Banerjee had shown me in one webinar in Delhi. It was a seminar, that time webinar was not there. He has cured glioblastoma, the most notorious of the brain tumors. and patient die fast within 2 or 3 months. Today it is this, tomorrow it goes high. And I really saluted him that day. When somebody from the audience got up, but you have used multiple remedies. I say, oh my dear, you first go and listen to Dr. Hahnemann, what he says. The highest ideal of physician is to cure the sick. He has cured. What more you want? His first principle has been followed by him. How to use remedies he has taught, but you have not used your mind to change as per the time, as per the situation. This person of glioblastoma would have died. And you can see the whole of the CT scan and everything was cleared. So, these are the certain perivascular ground glass. These are certain rubrics I have taken. You can note down from where I used to take up my remedy selections. Time is less, and therefore I would show you these rubrics just for the sake of information. Interstitial fibrosis and kidney inflammation is interstitial I have taken because there was no lung interstitial fibrosis medicines there. So kidney interstitial fibrosis, I found out anyway it is an interstitium. There might be some difference, but the basic theme of homeopathic remedies are same. And cyanosis, there are so many. People were jumping from one remedy to another. And finally, I came to know that it is into research in homeopathy. There was one very good article that I found, a meta-analysis of 30 years study, and found that chronic stressors were associated with suppression of both cellular and humoral measures. And this is where homeopathy will work wonder and can save our lives in preventing person going into the deeper disease. And if you see in detail, what are the components of immune system, you will see finally that homeopathy works wonders. And I've treated so many cases, but he is Dr. Ambekar. He's an orthopedic surgeon. He's owning a multi-speciality hospital in Goregaon East. He is closely known to me, and his family is known to me. They take homeopathy from me. And when he, in the first wave, got an COVID, he was so much shocked. Sir, I'm going to die. He is a brotherly figure to me. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And I gave him Aconite and Rustox. There was a lot of physical restlessness and mental restlessness. These two drugs were given as per the other individuality that I have taken. And, within 2 days, he got settled, and third day to discharge. And 7 days, at the end of 7 days, he was again back to his work, managing all the COVID cases. And in second wave, he was telling me, I can't stand here. I said, what happened? People are dying. Young people are dying. He was started crying. He's also an emotional person. My God, well, sir, aap kuch to bhi karo, but we are not given chance. Because, even there is no proper people. If you tell patient, you take homeopathy, they don't believe in homeopathy. This state of non-believing will have to change one day. Till the time we show the cases, very difficult cases, cured, and we should have one platform on the internet that come and see what homeopathy can do. Then people will start realizing. You can listen to him.
Hello, dear friends. I am Dr. Anirudh Ambekar, orthopedic surgeon and managing director of Lifeline Medical Group of Hospitals at Mumbai. I would like to share a small incident of my life with you. During the COVID pandemic in the month of April and May, when government has asked all our medical fraternity to dedicate their services, we also dedicated our 3 hospitals for COVID. And during those days, unfortunately, I also got infected. I had a very high-grade fever, cough, and mild breathlessness. The fever was not subsiding, so I contacted Dr. Jaswant Patil, who is a very close, dear friend and a brotherly figure to me. So he immediately suggested to start homeopathy along with my allopathy line of treatment. So we started the treatment, and gradually in 3 to 4 days, my fever got subsided. and even my lungs was saved. So I thank you, Jaswant Patil sir, for his timely help and timely dual line of treatment for COVID and taking care of me. Thank you so much, sir. And I wish, sir, you elaborate your treatment of this allopathy and homeopathy together, so we could save many lives henceforth. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again, and God bless you. Thank you very much.
I thank you for patiently listening, and time is short. I cannot discuss everything, and we have to take questions also. Therefore, what is the power of homeopathy? Till the time it is realized, people will die on this earth. When it will be realized and it will be properly executed, things will go much more better, and we can make many lives more happier. And we will be highly grateful to Dr. Hanneman. And for that, we have to do a proper scientific research. I always type on the internet whenever I get a time. I type on the internet, research in homeopathy, read the articles, then read the remedy, how it is matching, how these things can be matched together, and we can have powerful scientific base of our homeopathy in a modern outlook time, to keep into the mind principles, at the same time get quicker and more reproducible results. You know what is the best in allopathy? You give paracetamol, every patient's fever will come down. What do we have? In first wave, APIs work. Second wave, APIs and Rustox in first wave. Second wave, these were not working. Sometimes Rustox work, but pyrogenium was working more, because the lung damage was not there for 4 or 5 days. Like in first, it was 5 days, 60% damage. In second wave, it was not there. And person used to say, cough pain and thoda halka thandi lagta hai. आंख बंद करके pyrogenium 200 I used to give along with the indicated remedy, and fever is to come down within hours. And if not, more sleepy, bacteria. So this proper way of selection of homeopathy has made my life very comfortable, and I feel satisfied, and I'm proud to be an homeopath. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful session. I'm sure everybody has a lot of questions in mind. So Dr. Ruchi and Dr. Himesh will help us in streamlining the questions, and we'll take them up one by one. Over to you, Dr. Ruchi.
Okay, good evening, sir. We have some questions from the audience, and like the question from Dr. Digari, that can pleural effusion be effectively treated with homeopathy in your experience?
Yes, luckily means I can show you a case of pleural effusion that got into the COVID time. And the way, if I was in my Mumbai city, I would have just now shown you a serial X-rays, and that the pleural effusion vanished in 3 days time. But the success rate, if you see, yeah, I got this one slide here. Just show that. Good, I got, my son has found out this. I'll share my screen again, because it is an interesting question. This will increase the confidence of an homeopath. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, clearly.
See, I have not arranged it properly, because I used to collect the data and then dump it on one PPT when get a time. You can see the pleural effusion, and how in first X-ray, this is second X-ray, this is third, it increased, and finally this X-ray, if you see, it has reduced nicely, and that too with the remedy of anti-Mars. Now, why anti-Mars was selected? He had features of arsenicum, and he had features of antimtat, because there was some doubtful case. It was a COVID case only, and I thought COVID pneumonia with pleural effusion, I had not seen the case, but he had come positive. And this, I said Antim Tart is also working. As if you see in the number of cases, it has worked. Stop sharing. And this particularly case was what to do. Now, anti-Mars, I was not getting any characteristic symptoms, but I said, let me use, because arsenic album is very good for edema. If you see many cases of kidney failures, arsenic does wonders in clearing the dropsical state. Only repetition is required, but it has to be with that. Now, Antim has got an action on heart. Antim has got an action on heart, Antim Tart particularly. So the Antim group, you take a remedy, and arsenic group. So heart as well as the dropsical state. So I just closed my eyes and gave him Antim-Ars, and you can see the result. Within a span of 3-4 days, he was feeling better, and repeated X-ray showed a clear-cut clearing of the pleural effusion. There is one more case of cancer pleural effusion. Cancer pleural effusion with metastasis to lungs, liver, and brain. She is 65-year-old lady. Okay, and she within a span of 1 year, 1 month, the effusion was cleared. First was tapping done. Second, again it filled up. And then when we started the homeopathic remedy. So homeopathy is working, but the results are still not consistent. If I take 10 cases, I would say I will get results in 3 or 4 cases, not all cases. So where you fail, you should not lose hope, because there you have to find why I failed. Why I failed here. No doctor in homeopathy is 100% perfect. And one has to accept that. Remove the ego. When you face a failure, accept it with a wholehearted, where I failed. Sometimes group discussions will say, oh, this should have been done, this should have been done. That is how the homeopathy will come up. Suppose if you get 100 cases and you cure only 2 or 3, we just show those cases into the webinars, and then students don't get a result. They get loss of confidence. We are doing wrong to our students. Students should understand that even in the hands of the ace homeopath, the cases they fail. And therefore they check it, why it failed. I accept my failures. I've seen that I'm not saying I treat all 100 cases successfully, but where I'm getting a success, after that also tell about the failure cases, why I got a failure. In cancer cases particularly, I'm getting result in 30-40 cases of 100, not in all. But why? That is still my study is going on. And one day when we will get a right answer, we will be better than chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and that. I'm trying for that. If life gives
So
me
that's the hope. That's the hope on which we're working. And definitely, like the confidence, even with 30% of cases, that's something. So then the next question leads to the Gordian knot of homeopathy, potency used. Like with your medicines like Rastox, Econite, like which potency, that is a big issue.
Yeah. See, basically, in acute cases, 30 never works. 30 never works. I always prefer 200. And it is my experience, that's my practical experience. People may be having different experiences. I've not used LM potencies, but I usually pick up 200 potency, and that works. Sometimes, 1M, I'm afraid to use, because in some cases, you may get into a problem. But particularly abscess remedies, all abscess remedies given in general chapter, you pick up 1M, you pick up a remedy, always use 1M, because that should not give progression to the abscess. If you give that in the pneumonia case, the lung abscess will form, where it will drain out. So there you have to use 1M potency. And in very mild cases, if you're afraid, 30 if you use, then give in repetition. Even 200 when you use, at least in a day, you have to use 3 doses. But if you are not getting result with 200 in first, either you think that your remedy selection needs a correction.
And so the same question for Merxol and arsenic. Like
Yeah.
you gave the 5-day dose thing. Like what about the potency is there?
So for prevention, always use 30. For prevention, where we do not have an more of an action of the drug, 30 stimulates the immune system, gears up the immune system. But even in the acute phase, I have used 30 because sometimes, these are the metal remedies. They are polycrest, deep acting remedies. There, don't go to 200. Acute remedies, you go select 200. But these cases, particularly when you use polycrest, deep acting remedies, always prefer 30 and give the complementary. So go to a chapter of remedy relationship, Merck solve what complements better, and that fits into the symptomatology of the patient. So you will find after repertorization, in some symptoms are sitting in one remedy, some are, you'll get confused. So first 10 to 15 remedies in the repertorization, which is working on the pathology, that if you keep, you are not selecting directly a pathological remedy, but every pathology gives rise to symptom characteristics that has to be matched. Then you can be very sure about the success, because by chance, if you select a remedy and that is not having a sphere of action on liver or on the pathology of that liver or a lung, you may not get a result and the time will be lost. I hate losing time, because losing time is losing patient, either as a patient or in his life. And I have not seen any untoward reactions, basically, I can tell you. And even if you face something, you can immediately correct it by giving antidoting it. Same remedy, put in a water and give 1/2 teaspoonful of that remedy, the effect goes down.
Okay.
Hello, doctor.
Yeah.
There is a question from different doctors about the opinion about vaccination. And second question is the side effects ensues after vaccination, what should we think of in homeopathy?
See, vaccination is a very controversial topic. Okay. But let me be very frank with you. There is something called as neutralizing antibodies and antibody action enhancement that happens after vaccination. So, in that particular state, if vaccination has been done, you might get into problems, but it will not happen to all. Like I said, 100 patients vaccinated, all will not get complications. But if you're taking vaccination, this particularly 30 cases that I discussed, out of 170 will get no problems. Thoda sa idhar kuch local reaction hoga, 99 fever aega. They do very well. But these 30 patients who are vaccinated and they go into the problem immediately, start homeopathic remedy for them, because they will not worse and people will lose faith in vaccination, because arsenic album has to be given, Rustox has to be given, and Thuja. Thuja is very important, followed by sulfur. These 4 remedies has given me and protected all my vaccinated patients, because you cannot tell a patient don't take vaccination, because nowadays it has been seen. The UK recently, the first line that I had shown you, third wave challenge. So many vaccinated people are getting, on the contrary, they are getting more into the virulent problem. So anyway, we have to save them. Homeopathy is there to save, not for contradictions, not to contradict, because whatever has been established, science and accepted all over the world, we cannot talk against that. And what is in our hand? To protect such people. So go and protect them, rather than having controversies. Otherwise, the system will be thrown out. We know, as Dr. Hanneman has already said about vaccinosis problem, but we have got a treatment for that. So patients sometimes will taking after vaccination, मैं तो king बन गया, अभी मैं कहीं पे भी जा सकता हूँ. So that mind state will prevent him. So let it be in that elated state. But at the same time, we know what problems are going to be there. So treat that. That is what I have told in the task force. We have to see for third wave 2 things. One is prevention by arsenic, and second, taking care of side effects of vaccination. That every world knows now about. what are the problems. Thrombosis problem is there. I've seen patients getting, even it is a live attenuated virus, but because of antibody advancement, the live virus can become like an infection and they cause a mutation. And these mutants, all viruses which are mutating, it has been seen as a long experience. Mutating virus has got no good results in vaccination, but they say, okay, all right. Somewhere people are getting some benefit, some people are not getting benefit. So why fall in controversy? Instead of that, give our homeopathic prevention treatment, right?
What about the oscillococcinum and influenzainum as a substitute to vaccination?
See, vaccination, we cannot do substitute because we are not allowed to do that, right? So best thing is, I already said, never fall into the controversial situations, never contradict. Instead of that, what is in our hand, we can treat influenza, particularly, the new cases we have started seeing, running cold, sneezing cold. So sneezing and running cold, their RT-PCR is coming negative, but some symptoms are there. So there we have to treat with our homeopathy.
But at internal level, can we think with our own patients giving oscillococcinum or influenzainum?
The best
For
would
the-
be Corona Nosode, what Dr. Rajesh has developed. Even I'm in the information, CCRH is also developing Corona. That would be a better selection because it is directly prepared from spike proteins.
So is it available?
It is into the stage of final human trials. Okay. And my center is one of the thing Dr. Rajesh Shah has taken up, and there we are studying. So we cannot talk more about it because it is an ethics of research. So let's see what comes out, and if that comes out, it will be fine.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Like about administering multiple remedies, there's a question like how do you propose that, like what should be the methodology there, if you can like just
Yeah, I didn't get your question.
the if we have to prescribe multiple remedies in acute condition, so like what kind of methodology should we adopt there?
Yes, I tell you. Very good question. Very good question. I also faced the same problem initially. So what I used to do, select on what are anti-thrombotic remedies, anti-inflammatory remedies, and tissue affection remedies. And what symptoms I am getting. Suppose if you're not getting characteristic symptoms, at least some symptoms you are getting, and where the mind is matching. So you get 3-4 remedies. Then go to the remedy relationship table and find out which follows well, which complements, which are the similar remedies. And from there, you have to do is, that's the reason. If your selection is wrong, you have to change fast. You cannot wait till अच्छा ये रेमेडी लो 24 घंटा देखो फिर कल आओ फिर देखेंगे तब तक तो आदमी चला जाता है. So we have to be very fast in treating these acute cases. Even every minute we have to change. I'll give you one example. That case of COVID was in ICU. A very big person. I would not name him. And he was not getting bed. So he got admitted in a small hospital. Luckily, it was an hospital of a pulmonologist. So when I talked to him, see, anyway, he is on NORADs, BP is dropped down, he is on ventilator, mechanical ventilator, he is not responding, pulse is not coming, NORADs is going up to 12, still BP is not coming up. So let us try. The relatives say, ऐसा भी तो sir given up hope से try करो. There you get chance to observe and see the effects of homeopathy. I gave him Camphora 30. And I said, after giving Camphora 30, just moment you put on a tongue Camphora, just watch on the blood pressure. And ask the sister to, it's an auto inflation mode. So every 5 minutes you take a BP. And within 20 minutes, when the BP was just maintained with 12 NORADs, about 90 to 100 ke beech mein. So if NORADs are stopped, it will drop down. It went to 160 by 120. So immediately I called the pulmonologist, please reduce your NORADs. And it was second day, this man was out of ventilator. Third day, he was into a small BiPAP. And fourth day, he was on nasal prongs. At that time, all the relatives says, he's a man of more than 1,000 crores. Shift him to the better hospital. And he was shifted there. There, I had a lot of arguments with them. I told them that you shift to that hospital, but first take a permission. Dr. Patil says, if you are going to give homeopathy, allow homeopathy, then we will shift this patient to your place. And then what he said after shifting the patient, okay, doctor, we agree for you to give, but show us the research. I said, you didn't tell me these ifs and buts and conditions at time. Now you're asking for research. What are the research in your solidarity trial? I said, all are failures, and you are asking research for the homeopathy. Because I had a knowledge, so I could fight with him. But finally, they were adamant, and relatives were helpless. Because of money, they wanted a bigger hospital, proper facilities. Finally, the homeopathy was stopped. Again he deteriorated and finally succumbed in 7 days' time. That is a tragedy.
So there's another question from Dr. Bidani. Like in asymptomatic cases, would you share your experience regarding asymptomatic cases and prescription based on biomarkers? If in cases where cases are asymptomatic, the question is that prescription based on upon biomarkers, for example, raised ferritin levels in asymptomatic patients.
I got it. See, this I had presented in earlier webinars. The ferritin. So ferrum group medicines you have to select. Usually, the phosphorus should have been the genus epidemicus. But phosphorus, it's a very deep acting remedy. Sometimes it may act. So it is always better not in the fulminant stage, or you can use in LM potency. I have no experience for that. So instead of giving phosphorus, if the ferritin, I used to say, my first selection is ferrum phos. In CRP is raised. When the CRP is raised, abrotenum is absolutely good anti-inflammatory. Along with thrombosis is there, inflammation of the arteries, arnica. Then particularly if the third stage that comes is raise of IL-6. In raise of IL-6 with D-dimer. So, anti-thrombotic remedies. So now you have to select between lacasis, crot H and other things where the symptoms they match. There are big chunk of remedies there. So which one you will give? So the selection should be based on the symptoms, because the base of homeopathy is symptom. Symptom is a language of the disease. Suppose if I am getting pain, so I will shout, ah. So organ cannot shout like that. So it gives rise to the symptoms. So select the symptom and match the pathology. You are definitely going to get a good results. If it is unilaterally treated, another layer, it's already given in chronic diseases. The layer by layer, it will come up. As soon as the new layer comes, new symptoms come, catch those and correct your prescription. Don't stick on to one. I had one homeopath. Perfect selection was pulsatilla. Patient was taking pulsatilla, feeling energy लगता है, थोड़ा अच्छा लगता है. But I said कि since you are already on homeopath's treatment, she was my relative also, and I was knowing the homeopath also. But I said कि this COVID requires 2-3 remedies. But fixed views, patient, she deteriorated. And on 7th day, the damage was 16%. University score was 16%. At that time, I said, nothing doing. Now, we have to stick on to what I have learned from my mistake. Pulsatilla, one single dose give, continue per day, but along with all the remedies. And she cleared in 4 days time. The CT score came down and finally she was discharged.
So there's
Oh.
another question. I think this is the last one. How to antidote polycrest selection if it was wrong, and where there are pathological changes involved?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I face this problem because I am treating many incurable pathological cases. Wherever you feel your remedy selection is causing aggravation of the disease, what I do, take the same potency, dissolve it in water, a glass of water, and you only don't do vigorous. Just stir it well, slowly, so that it doesn't get further dynamization and potency doesn't increase. And from that, you can, because we don't have a lower potency. If you are using 30, we do not have 29, 28. So you have to create that by dilution and give that. It is a perfect antidote. For that, the remedy action will be tapered down. At the same time, if your selection is correct, it will give good results also. It's in my observation, not given in any books, but I've seen everywhere the repertories and repertorizations and materia medica. Some is saying what, there is no uniformity. So everywhere there is a difference. So finally you have to use your brain and practical approach. Thank you.
Hello, doctor. There is another question about, we have seen SpO2 level in this COVID-19. How to increase with what kind of homeopathy medicines?
See, basically selection of remedy has to be based on pathology, what is happening, why the oxygen has gone down. That needs to be treated with supporting with carbovage. There are so many remedies, aspidosperma, if the respiratory center is depressed. Selection should be as per that. Then second is your glycyrrhiza, lobella inflata, where lobella inflata, what it does, it removes the congestion so that the bronchi and everything opens up. So you must know what is happening to the patient. Unless you are clinically sound, unless you know what the pathology is going on, just blindly depending on symptoms, that symptom has to match the pathology, because the pathology is given the symptom. So that is how
कुछ है इसमें?
I have given some 100 remedies.
बाहर निकाल के रख लो, फिर आंटी को बता दो.
Sorry, sir, you'll have to unmute yourself. I had to, yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So the 100 remedies I have given there, from there you have to, that's the reason you should be clinically sound, and that is very important. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I mean, there are no words to express the kind of experience and knowledge you've shared with all of us. I request Dr. Ruchi to help us sum it up so that we can move towards the end of the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you so much, sir, for actually boosting our confidence on homeopathy, especially in this COVID scenario. And your experiences regarding preventive role of Arsenicum album and also of other medicines in reducing morbidity and mortality, and like creating education and awareness regarding this in the general public and maintaining it throughout the third wave also. That should be our aim throughout the next couple of months and years, so that we can help to reduce the morbidity and mortality in these cases. Also, this special mention of over medications, or rather self over medication by patients, which is creating a bad scenario for all the systems of medicine. This needs to be focused by all doctors, and this self-awareness needs to be created, because we see a lot of OTC prescriptions happening of such major drugs, be it allopathic, be it homeopathic, any name that comes up in the news, the patient starts over-medicating with that. So this we need to stop on. And the concept that you put forward, especially regarding the miasmatic background and how to use intercurrent remedies during acute episodes, during these complications, with special focus on physiology, biochemistry, and immunology, which are actually evolving in every stage of COVID and evolving when we give medicines also. This was very illuminating, and the terrorization of using medicines, like yeah, although it was about using multiple medicines, but it was all in sequence. So visualizing, yes, that the change has to happen in 5 minutes or maximum within 1 hour. If not, go for your next medicine, look into the pathology, look into the clinical situation, and then go for your next medicine. Do not be stuck up on the fact that you have to wait for a day or 2 days, because the patient's life is on line here. And really, this use of analogy, although we study it a lot in our theory, but use of analogy, especially where you have taken up kidney interstitial inflammation and use those remedies, and how that, yes, the tissue remains the same, the representation of ACE2 inhibitors is there in these organs also. So why not use this particular rubric? So this can be a learning thing for a lot of students, and also for us practitioners while using this. And really, and of course, especially the last part, especially which came up during the question and answer session, where we are relating not only pathology but also biomarkers while dealing with our medicine selection. Yes, with this COVID, a lot of asymptomatic cases, a lot of cases with, only with common symptoms. Like homeopathy also tells us the same thing, that as the pathology will increase, the uncommon characteristic symptoms are going to come down. So where to look into the medicine, looking into the pathology, looking into the biomarkers, and getting our medicine selection proper from there, and not being afraid of changing the medicine as and when the time needs. And your special approach towards potency, using the same potency in water medium for antidoting if there is any negative effect. That was very illuminating regarding the prescription methodology. And I'm sure, like, this 1 hour time was too less to benefit from your experience, and hopefully we'll get more time and more sessions from you with all these different case scenarios that you've enlightened us on. And we really look forward to learning from you more. And thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And over to Shalini ma'am again.
Yeah, thank you, Ruchi. Thank you so much. We cannot thank you enough, Dr. Patil. But just one more question. It is by Dr. Poonam. She's been wanting to ask you. I request Dr. Poonam to please unmute yourself and ask the question, please.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Can you elaborate about vanadium? We have heard about vanadium that it improves SpO2 oxygen levels.
Yeah, well, see, here comes to know the action of vanadium. Why vanadium improves the oxygen? That we have to learn from the materia medica, from the physiology. There are so many remedies, So blindly we cannot give all the remedies together. So we must know the pathology, particularly why vanadium is used, because the main action of vanadium is on the arteries. There is a vasculitis. So there are remedies, inflammation of blood vessels, where the symptoms match, you select that remedy. But particularly when that remedy is not acting, vanadium strengthens the arteries. What happens, the capillaries, they break. So it works more like sickle core and vanadium. So when you find that, therefore, one day I'll teach you how to look into the X-rays and CT scan. You have to understand the pathology. That one X-ray slide that I had shown you, pathology slide, how the blood vessels are involved, and if something is not acting well, and vanadium is fitting into the symptoms of the patient, even into the gross symptoms are there, because you will not get a character. If you get characteristic symptom, you're lucky. But if you don't get, then what you will do? So you have to give something. So these are the basis from where we can select. If you get characteristic symptoms, nothing like it. It works like magic. But if you're not getting, like I had shown you, my first experience of homeopathy was arnica and cactus G. Arnica works on which pathology? And cactus works as a dilatation or contraction of the artery. If the artery is in spasm, it will release. If the artery is totally dilated, it will contract. So action, it has got a dual action. You can give in hypotension also and hypertension also. So this is the beauty of homeopathic drug, where we are not getting sudden drop of the BP, neither sudden increase of the BP, unless it has been supported by an allopathic drug, is already on antihypertensive, it will drop down again. So that I said a case where NORAD has to be decreased. So vanadium, if particularly the patient is old, so atherosclerosis is there. So there, if you see, or there is some history of the blood vessels, like you see some patches, you see some capillaries, varicose veins, you know that artery condition health is not good. There vanadium, not in all cases vanadium will work. So you have to select symptoms. Thank you.
But does it increases the liver enzymes?
See,
Because I lost one
Oh.
of my patient, like you shared the thing. She was improving. She was in Fortis, Jaipur. She was improving. The SpO2 was improving. It came out to be 94. And the other day, the doctor came and said, liver enzymes are rising. Please stop homeopathic
oh
treatment.
no. See,
They never told me. And after a few days, I heard she's no
I'll tell
more.
you what has happened. What has happened with this case, I'll give you. So you will not be afraid of that. See, time of deterioration. Okay. Time of deterioration and giving your remedy. You cannot blame the remedy. Remedy can never do wrong things. Okay. Homeopathy never kills. He is not going to kill. Particularly the disease is going to kill. There is a shifting of the disease from lungs to the liver. Okay. So when, because one layer has gone, second, both the organs cannot get simultaneous. It can happen, two disease can run parallelly.
He was already in the ICU and they were giving allopathic
So
medication.
that liver damage was more pronounced because lung was, your vanadium has taken care of that and the disease has shifted. Here you should have given her abrotenum. But you know, this is a false claim.
But they never told me back. And the ICU doctors stopped
See,
it.
they have a fear.
The
They
homeopathic
have a
medicine,
fear.
said, we
They have a
cannot give it.
fear that metal remedies, okay, metal remedies cause destruction. That is a common fear amongst, even I was having as an allopath, because we have seen cases of gold fibrosis, gold causing fibrosis of liver and kidneys. So that preset mind is there of fear, phobia about the metal remedies. And therefore, they must have said that, or sometimes, you know, कि तुमने ये दे दिया इसलिए. There are some people who are against homeopathy also. Secondly, they want to shed away the responsibility. See, we had taken care, but now the patient has gone wrong because of homeopathy. So don't blame homeopathy or don't blame yourself. It's a bad luck when it is like a time of giving remedy and time of deterioration. So what I always do in such cases, I say, see, he is a case of absolutely last stage. Okay, any moment, any second, any minute he may die. And by chance, if you give my homeopathic remedy and patient dies, don't blame homeopathy. And don't ask because homeopathy never kills. Either it will work or it will not work. Okay, something is happening, something is going out of your hand. Homeopathy is not, it's not a poison, it is so dynamic, so small molecules. How can it cause a reverse things? I'm always saying ki disease aggravation and final decline. Disease aggravation and final decline. For particularly that, it is just shifting of one where you cure, and second, therefore, you know, the complementary remedies take care of that. Wherever you take full picture of a patient, always see the investigation. Liver enzymes kidhar badh gaya, kidney ka creatinine.
Alkaline phosphatase was raised because they were on lot of allopathic
Alkaline
medication.
phosphatase raised
And
means what, you know, there might have been the inflammation of the common bile duct. So wherever there is obstructive jaundice, the alkaline phosphatase is raised. Whenever there is a problem with the marrow, acid phosphatase is raised, even into prostate problems. So you know कि when you are treating, if the remedy action is on the one part, the other part is unprotected. So your remedy is not going to kill that other part, but it will show up. Na? That is how the disease comes layers by layer. It has been already said in homeopathy. So you should know comprehensive as a patient as a whole. Your heart, mind, and body has to be totally identified where the problems are. Jot down and say his liver is bad. So I am going to give a complementary remedy that is going to cover his liver also, so that suddenly a layer will not come up. Got it?
Thank you so much, sir, for trying to give us a solution to that. Thank you so much. So I know it is already past 8, but we'll not take more than 5 to 7 minutes now. Over to Dr. Parul to help us, know more about what Dreams is doing, Dreams Innovative Homeopaths. Dr. Parul.
Thank you, Shalini. Good evening, everyone. The session was very enlightening. Well, I'm here to update you all briefly with our past and future projects. We are comparatively a new association, just 4 CMEs old prior to lockdown. During lockdown, our team did grassroots level work and studying and treating COVID, working on preventive measures and medicines, etc. We did camps and we will be conducting camps for treatments, distribution of preventive immunity medicines to the rural or JJ colonies. We did and we will be conducting camps on menstrual hygiene with NGO DIE, which is a dream baby of our wonderful friend, Dr. Arvinder Kaur. Also to share with you all, our DIH activities recently got aired on News 18 Urdu channel, Chalti Rahegi Zindagi program on July 28th. Webinars, in the field of webinars, we are new. Today it's our second webinar, but we will have more in future on various topics, cardiology, ECG, and many more. CMEs, yes, once the circumstances are favorable, then we will be having magazines where there will be soft copy, that is e-magazine, printed versions as well. Mega event, we will be organizing events to popularize our homeopathy in the coming year 2022, either in the month of March or in November. And I'm sure with our teamwork, our Dreams family will do wonders. Over to you, Anupam ma'am. Do you want to add anything?
Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. तो मैं डॉक्टर पारुल ने बिल्कुल सही बताया. हमारे कुछ प्रोजेक्ट्स चल रहे हैं, पुराने चल रहे हैं, हमने बहुत कुछ किया और अभी और भी हमने करना है ना. जीवन में असली उड़ान अभी बाकी है. हमारे इरादों का इम्तिहान अभी बाकी है. अभी तो नापी है सिर्फ मुट्ठी भर जमीन, अभी तो सारा आसमान बाकी है. सो विल राइट बी डूइंग सो मेनी वर्क्स. और इस सर डॉक्टर पाटिल सर, मैं इस समय आपको ध्यान दिलाना चाहूंगी अपनी टीम के 2 लोगों के बारे में. डॉक्टर शालिनी जिन्होंने जो होस्ट है सारा काम किया था, और डॉक्टर अरविंदर. इन दोनों ने अल्टरनेटिव थेरेपीज में आप बहुत काम कर रहे हैं, तो मैं आपको जरूर बताना चाहूंगी इन दोनों के बारे में. डॉक्टर अरविंदर और डॉक्टर शालिनी ने एक टेक्निक डेवलप करी है, स्टिलनेस टेक्निक. Is another an alternative thing. It is based something similar to the philosophy of homeopathy. हम homeopathy में कहते हैं ना कि vital force is always inclined towards health. It is a vital force which is towards health, always runs towards health. So they stimulate that without sub-physiological doses of homeopathy. Philosophy of homeopathy, but without using medicines. So Dr. Shalini और Dr. Arvinder सामने आए please spotlight पे. Dr. Shalini?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm here.
Dr. Arvinder?
Yes, ma'am, I've added both of them on the spotlight.
Yeah, I think we are both on, we have been added on the spotlight. Yeah. Yeah, Arvinder, you would want to take over? I've been talking from the beginning.
हम फ्यूचर में इनके ऊपर स्टिलनेस टेक्निक के ऊपर हमारे डीएच के तरफ से वेबिनार भी करेंगे, तो आप लोग इन्हें ब्लेस करिए, दिस इज एन अल्टरनेटिव थेरेपी.
It's a really good and both of the you are doing a wonderful job. I would like to learn from you. And that is-
Thank you so much.
Sure, sir. Our pleasure.
Thank you.
You are a legend actually. आपको मैंने देखा था होम्योपैथिक लेजेंड का अवार्ड भी मिला, ही मैं मेंशन करना उस समय भूल गई. डॉक्टर पाटिल को होम्योपैथिक लेजेंड का अवार्ड भी मिला है. बहुत सारे अवार्ड्स मिले और मुझे लगता है कि ये अवार्ड्स की खुशकिस्मती है कि वो डॉक्टर पाटिल के पास आते हैं. मतलब he is such a big personality. From my point of view, I seem so high. I'm so happy that you came today and really enlightened us. हमारी टीम सर आपसे आगे भी जुड़ती रहेगी. अभी डॉक्टर
Thank you so much.
डॉक्टर
Sir,
हिमेश
now one formal vote of thanks by Dr. Himesh.
Thank you, Dr. Shah. I would like to thanks Dr. Jaswant Patil, and we are very much delighted and thrilled to have you. You know, allopath turned homeopath who has an in-depth knowledge of pathology. You know that. So thank you. It's a great informative you. Yeah. And on behalf of DIH, we really thanks you from our heart. And I know it's difficult on today to spare your time for all of us, and sharing your knowledge regarding COVID, right? And I thanks also the audience, the participants who has given us success to this webinar, and DIH members who have worked hard together as a team to make this webinar success. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank
Jaswant.
you.
We
Thank you
want
so
to have you again fully, because you have a very in-depth knowledge of pathology, treating through homeopathic. I know that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Over
much.
to
Thank
Dr.
you all.
Nupur.
Thank you all.
I forgot to add one thing. Forms in the chat box. There's feedback forms. Please, everybody, all the audience, please fill the forms.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. It was a great pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Dr. Anupama and other organizers. They're very thankful to all of you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thanks all.
Thank you. Thank you.